I'm going to preview the Baylor versus number 22 BYU football game. The game will be played on September 28th at 11 a.m. Central Time on FS1. And as of this recording, Baylor is favored by 3 points. We'll see how the spread moves. And I'm redoing this because I found out something that I didn't do right on one particular player. And it was like a BYU fan pointed that out to me. He's like, oh, yeah, I need to fix that. And I did. Now I got everything up to date now for sure. And BYU is 4-0 on the season, 1-0 in the conference with an impressive win against Kansas State. But Kansas State committed turnovers and penalties in that football game, and they allowed a punt return touchdown. That's the only reason why they won. Because when you look at statistically, Kansas State outgained BYU in time possession. They just made too many mistakes, and once Kansas State got down, they couldn't recover. They were even up 6-0, and then BYU took over from there, as you could tell. And Baylor's 2-2 on the season, 0-1 in the conference, and I don't need a rehash. What happened on that last play in regulation? I'm just going to call it the way it is, though. Colorado got fortunate. Hail Mary touchdowns hardly ever happen in football. Out of 10 times, I would guess like maybe 3. They just didn't execute that play right, and the defender slipped. And I'm not making an excuse of he was pushed off. I'm not going to make that excuse. Obviously, if Baylor would have made the field goal, they would be up double digits. Then it wouldn't have mattered, and they gave up that late touchdown in the first half. And that was the difference maker. Just get that guy down. Baylor wins that football game. So, in regulation. But you get the whole point. And Baylor had like a missed catch by Ashton Hawkins that could have potentially been up like 31-10. And then who knows? And then that game would have been out of reach, and maybe Colorado would have given it their hand and all this. So BYU does have 2 road wins on the season against SMU, but SMU was in quarterback fluctuation at the time, and they named a new starter since then. And they beat Wyoming at Wyoming, but Wyoming is a terrible football team this year. No offense, but it's the truth. Look at their record and everything, and they obviously beat Southern Illinois University, but that's an FCS school. So now I will go into depth on what you need to know about BYU here. They run a wide zone offense, which we're familiar with. I mean, that's the truth. We played them in the previous 2 years prior to last year. We did. They allowed 18 tackles for loss and 5 sacks on the season, 3 interceptions and 1 fumble, 32.8 points per game, 136.3 rushing yards per game. That is not their strength. It's the offensive line that has the problem for BYU in that department. But the passing game is a lot better. I mean, 254.3 passing yards per game. Granted, these numbers could be skewed because of the opponent, and the time possession, 32 minutes, 37 seconds. 14 for 48 on third down. 9 for 11 on fourth down. Yeah, they will go for it on fourth down, 80 first downs. And they allow 12 pass breakups and 5 quarterback hurries. The average offensive line weight for the 2 deep is 311 and 2/3 pounds. And yeah, that's including one guy that plays 2 different positions. Yeah, and the offensive line, if you couldn't tell by the numbers already, but when you look at the PFF grades on the run blocking, that is an issue for BYU. But yet they're better in pass blocking, which is crazy. So what are some players to keep an eye on? It's not Gary Bohannon, just to let you know. Y'all know he's not even a starter at quarterback. It's Jake Retzlaff. Number 12, 6'1", 205-pound quarterback. That is a junior. I will put all this in the description below and I'll look on BYU. And I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize every single player. Now, technically, the leading rusher at running back is Simone Moa, but it's a different Simone Moa that is on defense. Just so y'all know. Number 30, 5'10", 215-pound running back. That is a freshman. Yeah, literally BYU has no guys above 100 yards rushing at running back. Literally, the only guy that has 100 yards rushing or more is the quarterback, and he was at 113 last game. I mean, prior to the last game, now it's now in the 103. So not good for BYU, and they do have like two running backs. One of them's out, and one's questionable. The questionable one I'm going to go over right now is Hinkley Rupp-T. Questionable with undisclosed injury. Number 7, 5'9", 200-pound running back. That is a senior. The guy that I'm saying that is out for this game, and Kalani Sitake did say that they're going to wait till October 12th to play him again, and that's L.J. Martin, but no need to go over that guy. Some other running backs would be like Miles Davis, number 4, 6 foot, 215-pound running back. That is a junior. They do have Nahuahin, Nawahine. Apologies if I butchered that. Number 21, 5'10", 205-pound running back. That is a junior. Yeah, he didn't play for a little bit. Now he's back. So that's the reason why I'm mentioning him here. And that's pretty much all the guys you need to know. And obviously, the leading receiver for the team is Chase Roberts. He's the only guy with above 200 yards receiving, by the way. And he's like got even over 300 yards receiving. So it's simple. Number 2, 6'4", 210-pound wide receiver. That is a junior. And we are familiar with him. He torched Baylor last time in Provo. Just to let y'all know. The other two guys on like 100 yards receiving more are like Darius Lassiter's number 5, 6'2", 210-pound wide receiver. That is a senior. And Keelan Marion, number 17, 6 foot, 195-pound wide receiver. That is a junior. Yeah, no, and no, both of those guys are like below 120 yards receiving at that. So, yeah, not that great. And there's JoJo Phillips, number 13, 6'5", 205-pound wide receiver. That is a freshman. Parker Kingston, number 11, 5'11", 185-pound wide receiver. That's a sophomore. They do have like two tight ends that could catch passes though, and that's Kano Hill, Keanu, number 1, 6'4", 240-pound tight end. That's a senior. Then there's Matavava Tehasa, Matavata_AVATA_ASE. I apologize if I butchered that. That is a hard name to pronounce. Number 88, 6'3", 255-pound tight end. That is a senior. There's Cody Epps. He's back. Number 0, 5'11", 187-pound wide receiver. That is a junior. Okay, that's pretty much all the guys you need to know because the other guys aren't going to play. Now, defensively, they are a stingy defense according to points per game. But granted, you have to take into account the opponents. And I know Kansas State is a good team and all, but they struggled. And they can't throw the ball. And none of these teams that they have played against are great passing teams. So, gotta keep that in mind here. They allow 12.8 points per game, 59 first downs allowed, 136.3 rushing yards per game. And they gave up actually over 200 yards rushing to Kansas State. Despite the win for BYU, they gave up that much, which is nuts. 132.8 passing yards per game, 22 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 16 pass breakups, 7 quarterback hurries, 5 interceptions, 3 fumbles, 22 for 62 on third down, 3 for 10 on fourth down, 27 minutes, 24 seconds on time possession allowed. They run like a multiple defense. The defensive line 3 deep is 271.25 pounds. So like the defensive tackle / nose tackle is actually 292.5, and defensive end is 250. So now, what are some guys to keep an eye on? I know I might be mentioning some depth guys at defensive tackle, but they rotate their guys. They do. They're not to give them so many snaps in a game. They're an older team, to say the least. I'm not talking about their age, but when you look at the classification. Harrison Taggart is their leading tackler for the season, number 11, 6'1", 230-pound linebacker. That is a sophomore. Then there's Jack Kelly, number 17, 6'5", 6'2", 240-pound linebacker. That's a junior. Jacob Robinson, number 0. 5'11", 270-pound CB. That's a junior. Isaiah Glasker, number 16, 6'5", 235-pound linebacker. That's a sophomore. Yeah, mentioning that. Crew Wackley, number 7, 6', 200-pound safety. That's a junior. Tyler Bounty is definitely the best defensive end, and in fact defensive lineman, in my opinion. And there's no question BYU fans would agree with me. Number 92, 6'5", 275-pound defensive end as a senior. There's Tanner Wall, number 28, 6'1", 200-pound safety. That is a junior. There's Blake Engelson. That's the other good defensive end for them / defensive lineman, number 93. 6'5", 275-pound defensive end as a senior. There's Isaiah Bagnall, number 13, 6'4", 245-pound defensive end as a senior. Evan Johnson, number 21, 6 foot, 180-pound CB. That's a sophomore. Luke Tomolalati, Toomalatai, number 95, 6'2", 315-pound defensive tackle. That's a junior. Then there's John Nelson, number 94, 6'4", 290-pound defensive lineman. That's a senior. Talon Alfree, number 25, 6'2", 205-pound safety. That's a junior. Simone Moa, number 41, 6'1", 230-pound linebacker. That's a junior. Let's try to look down here and see. And I'm going to just go ahead and mention my Cho Bryant Stroller, number 33, 6'3", 235-pound linebacker. That's a senior. There's Micah Harper, who actually played last game after missing some time. Number 1, 5'10", 195-pound safety. That's a junior. Logan Lutu, L-U-T-U-I. I apologize for today. Number 59, 6'2", 255-pound defensive end. As a senior. Okay. Asia Moa, number 58, 6'2", 235-pound linebacker. That's a sophomore. Now I'm going to just go down to the defensive tackles, honestly. / defensive ends from here, and that's Joshua Singh, number 99, 6 foot, 285-pound defensive tackle. That's a junior. Bodie Sunovar, number 48, 6'3", 255-pound defensive end. That's a sophomore. Bellamy Pohua, P-O'-U-H-A, number 45, 6'3", 260-pound defensive end. That's a freshman. Gonna go ahead and mention Jonathan Kabeya, K-A-B-E-Y-A, number 23, 5'10", 173-pound CB. That's a freshman. And the last guy I'm going to really mention is Ephraim Eseda, number 44, 6'3", 210-pound defensive end. As a freshman. And I know it's a lot of guys, but you all could check that in the description below. And the special teams wise, really, the most used punters like Sam Vanderhaar, number 35, 6 foot, 219-pound punter as a sophomore. Though they do have another one, but he hasn't punted for a little bit. And that's Landon Racco, number 39, 6'1", 190-pound punter, and that's a freshman. Now the most commonly used kicker is Will Farron, number 44, 6'3", 275-pound kicker. That's a junior. So. And the misses on the field goals, like one of them's like 30 to 39 yards, the other one's like over 50 yards, and the longest 50. So across the board, you guys kind of start like last game a little bit, though a little bit better, honestly, for Baylor side of things, and you got to finish better. And whenever you have a chance to put a team away, go do it. You kind of let Colorado come back in that game, and you can't let one game beat you twice. Physical aspect, you should recover from that last game, but it's the mental aspect. And I know for a fact that Baylor wide receiver Hal Presley did say they're ready to moving on to this next game here, and don't want to let that one game beat you twice type of deal. And even the players in the post game said, and Kyle Jordan, we're not going to make this like last year and let it snowball. I mean, that's the thing. You can't let one game beat you twice. You just can't. You got to make adjustments on the fly, not just from like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth, and maybe even overtimes. But I'm just saying, like, throughout the quarter as well, not just like first half, second half, but you get the whole point. Now, it's simple on special teams. You got to be solid, and you do not want to give up any touchdowns on special teams. That's the truth, and we're big returns. Get that guy down as soon as possible. Of course, if they call a fair catch, don't run into him. You got to, and another thing across the board, win the turnover battle and time possession. That does matter some, and you don't want to commit a ton of penalties either, because that was one of the problems for Kansas State last game. That's why they didn't even win or come close, besides the turnovers. You obviously don't want to have personal foul targetings or unsportsmanlike conduct, because 2 of those, you're automatically out of the game. I mean, that's the thing about it is. Back to what I was saying on special teams. You need to have good blocking on your punting and your field goals and extra points. Don't allow points off of that. And another thing across the board, you gotta limit the points off turnovers as much as possible on like win the points off turnover battle, because that is the difference in the game. It is. While you gotta limit that on defense, you gotta get as much as possible on offense. So that's nothing to mention. And special teams wise, obviously, if you have a good kickoff return, or even a good a kickoff return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, that'd be huge in this type of game, because hitting yardage does matter. It does. And do not bobble like the snap or the punt or the kickoff or fumble the ball, please. Okay, now defensively, I wouldn't worry about them running the ball, though. You still got to stop the run. I mean, and get pressure on the quarterback and make sure that guy doesn't beat you with his legs. He can do that a little bit. And no offense to BYU, their quarterback is not as good as Shedeur Sanders, or the wide receiver core is not good as Colorado's. Because literally, Colorado has 3 other guys that are number 1 wide receivers on their team, besides Travis Hunter. I'm just calling it the way it is on that. So you gotta limit the big plays and the yards after catch, yards after contact as much as possible. And if you can you need to make a play on the football, force turnovers. Whether it's an interception and you could return it for some yards or nothing, or interception for a touchdown, or even like recover the football on a fumble, or force a fumble, recover it, and if you could land on it, great. And of course, you could take to get some yards off of it. That'd be amazing. And of course, the best case scenario is getting a touchdown. And I would honestly double cover Chase Roberts. Do not let him beat you in this game. And honestly, you do not want to give up any easy throws. Make it difficult as possible. And if you can't get to the quarterback, bat the ball down. And the CBs need to do the same thing, going batting the passes down if you can't get the pick. And you got to be smart with your pass interferences. And you don't want to, you got to turn your head around and bat the ball down. Play some fundamental football. And I don't care about the officiating in this game. You got to make plays to win across the board. That's another thing I need to mention about across the board here. So yeah, it's pretty simple and all this. Make it difficult for Red Slav and make him feel you. I'm not saying get the guy hurt. I'm saying give him a good clean hit and make him uncomfortable back there, because he can make mistakes. He can. So now offensively, you got to take care of the ball better. I mean, literally, you have 4 fumbles in the last 2 games. Come on. And that last fumble hurt you against Colorado, because you were literally inches away from a touchdown. Inches. And whenever you get some good pass blocking, run blocking, and I'm not just talking about the offensive line. I'm talking about tight ends and wide receivers in the run game too, and even tight ends in the passing game too. It's important to give Sawyer Robertson some time, and you take what the defense gives you, and honestly, you want to get some ground game going. Now, I'm not saying get 200 yards rushing like Kansas State did. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying just barely get over 100 yards. I'm talking about like 140 to 150. Because I know BYU did give up over 120 yards rushing in that first game, and the last game they gave up 200 yards rushing. I'm thinking somewhere in the middle. whether it's like a quarterback power run or give it to Bryson Washington, Dominic Richardson. He's fully healthy now, both of those guys, so that's really helpful. And the only guy on Baylor that's questionable, two guys really that's questionable for this game, is defensive lineman Cooper Lance. We'll see about him on the defensive line, and that linebacker is just Garmin Randolph. So, as an edge rusher, we'll wait and see on both of those. I would dare to say. Thank goodness Hal Presley's back, and you got to make some contesting catches. You got to. And that's what you kind of did last game, though. I know Ashton Hawkins did drop a pass, but what can you do? I mean, if he catches that ball, then nobody would catch him up, catch up. The defense couldn't get him, really, in my humble opinion. You got to have, like, your tight end. If you can't give it to your wide receivers, you got to have your tight end step up as pass catchers, even. Like a Michael Trigg or Matthew Kloppenstein, Gavin Yates, Kelsey Johnson, just to name some other guys. And even your running backs that could catch the ball and all this. And I'm not going to overemphasize on this, but this is a must-win game for Baylor. Look, the next two games, and I get there's a bye week in between, at Iowa State and at Texas Tech. Texas Tech is more winnable because of their defense is bad. Really bad. But at Iowa State, that's difficult. They're probably one of the better teams in the Big 12 right now. Better than BYU. No offense. But Iowa State beat Iowa. And all this. They are the better team than BYU right now. And no dispute that Utah's the best, though. You can't dispute that. Even if they don't have Cam Rising. I don't care. Because the goal right now is to be 3-3 before the first bye week in order to make a bowl game. And you got to pick yourselves up from that last game and play with your hair on fire. The pressure is on BYU. They're ranked. You're not. They're undefeated. You're not. Seriously. And don't let them come down here and push us around. You need to pick yourselves up and be physical with them. BYU's a physical football team. And show them who's boss. For reals. And you got to have that sense of urgency. And I know the seniors do because they want to finally get some more wins within the last 2 years here. And here's an interesting stat about BYU. They're 2-12 in the last 14 games that are during the day. Literally, a guy who covers BYU tweeted that, put that on X. He did. So they're better at night than during the day. And another thing, BYU did not win a single conference game a year ago on the road. Yes, I get they went on the road twice this year and win, but that's non-conference. That doesn't mean anything right now. It doesn't. And all this in it, you need to protect the lead better than you did that last game. And what you ever did wrong last game, correct it in this game. And whatever you did right last game, bring it this game. And on that Hail Mary situation for the defense, you got to if it's even applicable for this game, because who knows about that situation, if there's going to be a Hail Mary or not. You need to execute that play better, because that defensive end let Shedeur Sanders outside the pocket a little too much. And even at that, you almost had Shedeur Sanders to the ground. And the defender slipped. There's nothing you could do about that on the slipping part because it was raining. I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, and you don't want to. And if you're up late in the game by 7 points or 3, you like 3 to 7 point game. I mean, like 3 points or 6 points or 7 points. If you have a chance to put them away, put them away. Like, for example, and I get too that the field goal, if Baylor would have made that, the Hail Mary wouldn't have happened. But I will say the kicker is a good kicker for this year for Baylor. He just missed it bad. And I'm sure he needs to get that out of his head. He needs to. Because he knows he's a good kicker. He should know that. And yes, I know that last kick hurt him really bad. I know it. But you got to let that one behind you and move forward. You got to make your field goals. You got to make your extra points. You can have good punts if you need to punt the ball. Because sometimes flipping the field can really make a difference in the game. Especially with field position battle and all this. So you got to have a sense of urgency here, Baylor. And you need to take advantage of this opportunity. BYU has not been tested in the passing game yet this year. Let's be honest. Kansas State can't throw the ball. SMU didn't have a good, competent quarterback to throw the ball. And of course, Wyoming can't do anything. They can't even win a game right now. And FCS is FCS. So I'm just saying. And get some sacks in this game. In last game, you had 8 of them. I don't know about getting that many in this game because of the pass blocking for BYU, but you got to get some sacks and get some negative plays. And obviously, you want to force BYU into 3rd and longs, and then don't allow them to get conversions on 3rd and longs as much as possible. And honestly, you want to get 3rd and mediums or 3rd and shorts on offense. And please, if you do go for it on 4th down, and if it's like 4th and 1, quarterback sneak it or give it to Dominic Richardson or Bryson Washington. Or in that last game, potentially, spread them all out wide and quarterback run. Maybe the defense will account for that in this game because he helped Baylor's run game last game. And now they have to realize, oh, he could run the ball too. So that's all I need to say about this game. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Scores ultimate goal is 1,000 more. Some money off the scores. Like a video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. So more people see us. Sharing the videos help as well. So more people watching. If you're watching, not subscribe, hit subscribe button. Hit the notification bell as well.